Okay, let's dive into this. Welcome to today's Explainer, where we're going to unpack what might just be the absolute most brilliant case study in user-centric design and rapid prototyping that I've seen in a long, long time. But here's the twist, right? We aren't looking at some shiny Silicon Valley tech startup today. Nope. We are looking at a 5-year-old's craft project, and we're going to treat this exact scenario as the high-stakes innovation masterclass that it truly, truly is. Because think about it. How do you solve a problem when your target audience doesn't even know you exist? This is the ultimate question. It's the core design dilemma literally every creator, entrepreneur, and engineer faces at some point. Well, to answer that, I want to introduce you to our lead engineer for today. His name is Rehan, he's 5 years old, and you guys, he has a serious user acquisition problem on his hands.
So let's look at phase one, the unmet need and the busy morning.
The high-stakes environment driving Rehan's project really kicked off on day one when a brand new bird feeder was installed. I mean, it's a perfect product offering. Days 2 through 6, well, those were spent waiting for the target audience, the local birds obviously, to arrive. But by day 7, the feeder remained completely, agonizingly empty. 0 users, 0 engagement. And look, for a 5-year-old product manager, a 7-day lull is an absolute eternity. This empty feeder prompts a total emergency, all-hands-on-deck morning where Rehan just frantically starts gathering sticks, cardboard, paper, and a whole bunch of crayons to solve this major operational issue. And you know the stakes are high when Rehan's mother calls him for breakfast. And it's his absolute favorite, too, oats with mango and berries. But he completely ignores it. Mama even warns him that it's going to get soggy. But hey, when you're in the middle of solving a critical infrastructure problem, you simply don't have time for soggy oats. He just tells his mother that he is very busy. I mean, talk about absolute dedication to the problem at hand. And he actually follows it up with this incredible quote, "Do not disturb me." We just have to appreciate the extreme focus here. Rehan has essentially transformed his childhood bedroom into a highly classified R&D lab, and even the highest authority in the house, his mother, is temporarily shut out so the genius can work. Which brings us to phase 2, the execution and Rehan's hypothesis. So Mama finally peeps into the room about an hour later and actually witnesses the manufacturing process firsthand. And this brilliantly illustrates Rehan's meticulous workflow. First, cutting the cardboard and paper to size, then carefully writing out a very specific directional message, and finally, fastening the whole shebang together with a zip tie for structural integrity. This is a complete end-to-end fabrication process executed in just 1 hour. And the tangible output of Rehan's labor? It's a scalable system. He doesn't just build one sign. His deliverables are 3 distinct signboards. They're cut into clear arrow shapes, they're color-coded in bright red, blue, and green for maximum visibility, and they feature the written text, "This way to bird feeder." Basically, he's built a complete visual guidance system designed specifically to direct local aerial traffic. Now, every great design starts with a core assumption, right? Here is Rehan's hypothesis. The birds simply do not know the way to the feeder. He tells his mom that because they don't know the way, he is putting up directional signs. His logic is incredibly straightforward. The product is good, the target audience is definitely out there, therefore, the issue is simply a lack of proper marketing and directional signage. Read the signs, find the feeder, boom, problem solved. But wait, let's move on to phase 3, the user flaw, or as I like to call it, the literacy loophole. Because Mama steps in right here as the ultimate user experience tester. She looks at these wonderfully crafted, color-coded, text-based signs and asks one simple, devastating question. Are you sure? Do they know how to read? With just those 8 words, she completely shatters the foundational assumption of his entire text-based design.
But Rehan doesn't miss a beat. He responds with what I am officially calling the guide bird theory. He tells his mom that, hey, not all of the birds need to know how to read. If only one of them knows how, it will guide the rest. I mean, think about how wonderfully logical yet completely innocent this defense is. He literally invents an entire sociological structure for birds on the spot, assuming there's some literate class of avian navigators out there who are going to decipher his signs and bring all their friends.
And despite the obvious flaw in the business logic, Mama is wonderfully supportive. She laughs, gives her little boy a hug, and they just go right ahead with the deployment. They go outside and put up the prototypes all around the feeder. And as you can probably imagine, this provides a massive deal of amusement to the neighbors in their colony, who get to watch a 5-year-old boy earnestly setting up traffic signs for the local bird population.
All right, on to phase 4, the pivot to pictures.
So the prototype is deployed, breakfast is finally eaten, and a little debrief occurs. Sitting back home, our young designer is really processing the user feedback he received earlier, and he says, "You are right, Mama. Maybe they do not know how to read. I will make a new one tomorrow with drawings on it." This is incredible, guys. There is absolutely zero ego here. None. He acknowledges the flaw in his initial assumption, realizes his product doesn't match his actual end user's capabilities, and just immediately commits to iterating a new, improved version by the very next day. So the crucial point is this comparison between version 1.0 and version 2.0. Version 1.0 was totally text-based, meaning it relied on a pretty complex user skill, reading English. Version 2.0, that will be universal signboards using drawings. Rehan has independently discovered that iconography and pictures create a vastly superior universal interface. He is moving from a high-friction user experience straight to a low-friction, universally understood design. Which really just leaves us with this question to ponder today. When you are building something, whether it's a huge presentation, a new software tool, or a business plan, are you willing to throw out a flawed design and pivot as easily as a 5-year-old? Rehan didn't get all defensive about his beautiful green and red arrows. He just realized the birds couldn't read them, and he decided to draw pictures instead. That kind of ego-free adaptability, that's the true heart of design thinking. So take that mindset into whatever you are building next. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll see you next time.